Good evening, everyone. It is now 6 p.m. and the December 1st City Council meeting will come to order. I'm having a hard time shaking November. Please join me in the opening prayer. Our Lord in heaven, we thank you for blessing us with this beautiful city that we are able to call our home. We also thank you for blessing our city with the wonderful residents that live within and for the talented leaders who selflessly give their time and energy to the city of Bel Air Beach. This evening, Lord, we pray for a productive council meeting that will lead to positive outcomes not only for our community, but also for those who serve within. As we celebrate the upcoming holidays, help us remember the everlasting gift of your Son and your eternal love for us. For it is in your name we pray. Amen. Now please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kathy, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Frank Banker.
Present.
Councilmember Kimberly Shaw Elliott.
Present.
Councilmember Todd Harper. Councilmember Jody Shirley.
Here.
Councilmember Anders Wellings.
Here.
Vice Mayor Lloyd Roberts.
Present.
Mayor Dave Gaddis.
Here.
City Manager Kyle Riefler.
Here.
City Attorney Tom Trask.
Here. All right, thank you, Kathy. Our first order of business tonight is approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Motion is made by Councilmember Banker. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Wellings. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the agenda is approved. Next, we have presentations from the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, beginning with a monthly law enforcement report. Welcome, sir.
Good evening, Council. I believe we should all be looking at the analysts from October, correct? 2025, yes. Overall, our crime stats are down. There were a total of 13 arrests made in the month of October. Majority of those stemmed from our traffic misdemeanors, whether it be driving with your license suspended or revoked. Our deputies responded to about 633 events for Bel Air Beach, and that was just notable activities including house checks, ordinance violations, and assisting citizens. There were no crash reports for October, and a total of 224 citations or warnings were issued.
Thank you. Before I go to the council, I don't think we got your name. I just
Near zero, sorry.
Okay, and your rank?
Sergeant.
Sergeant, okay, Sergeant, thank you. Council, questions, comments? All right, your job was too easy tonight.
Just a note, my condolences to your department for the loss of the deputy this past month.
Thank you.
It just goes to show you that it was just a simple, like serving a warrant or whatever inspection. We have a code enforcement officer that gets in heated arguments. You guys make me sleep well. I just thank you.
Yes, sir. We appreciate
I
it.
feel so horrible when you hear something like
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant. All right, now we are on to the monthly code enforcement report. Deputy Trump, welcome.
Good evening,
Mayor, everyone else, council. I appreciate you having me here tonight. We've had a little bit slower month this month. No major incidents that are coming about. We have a lot of houses coming down at the moment. We have a lot of new builds going up. Everybody seems to be pretty much in compliance. I've been doing a few permit checks, and for the most part, everybody has their permits. We're following up on a couple of cases that have come up as of late where some proper permits weren't necessarily put in, doing some rebuilding and everything else, but we're following up on that, getting that taken care of. I apologize, I just had a 45-minute session out in the parking lot and I'm a little hoarse. So I had 37 new cases throughout the month and 21 follow-ups as well as 39 closed. We currently have 15 open cases, and it varies everything from ground cover to some deader diseased plant materials. I've been trying to follow up also on a few more of the trailers that are here. I only have 2 in the city right now. One is supposed to hopefully be moved by Christmas time, and the other one is currently active, still rebuilding the house. So she is living in that one. I'm going to address something that's more likely going to come up, obviously. I made a very bad mistake back on Veterans Day, and I'm sure some of you probably heard about it, and I just wanted to address it and express my deepest apologies. I came out here with, excuse me, the full intentions of trying to enforce the ordinance in regards to no construction on a holiday. I was misinformed and misread the actual ordinance itself, and I did stop a few of the constructions going on, and with that, one of the citizens actually corrected me, and they corrected me correctly, and I did make a mistake as far as that. Once that was done, I went back obviously and double checked the ordinance, and no, Veterans Day was not on there, and I had misunderstood it as far as all federal holidays and being a major holiday like that, where obviously county offices, city offices, state offices were all closed. So that was my mistake, and all I can do is say that I would apologize to anyone that may have affected. So, any questions?
Council? No? Deputy, I appreciate you owning that one, and I understand mistakes can be made. And the only advice I would recommend is just if you're enforcing something, maybe go back and double check that code. I would also like to commend the citizen who was very calm about helping you make that adjustment. So, that's it. I appreciate the report. It's very detailed, and thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you.
All right. Up next, we have a presentation from the Pinellas Suncoast Fire and Rescue District. Welcome, Chief Ken Grimes.
Thank you. We actually had a slow month as well. It's 6 EMS calls this month, and one of those was a bicyclist. There was in an accident. He didn't hit a car. It was a single bicyclist, but he was a trauma alert and ended up going to Bayfront. So that was the most severe call. Overall, the district had a busy month, though. We had 184 total calls for the month, and you may have noticed we had a structure fire in the Oakhurst area, which was notable. We had our unit got there. It was only about 2 minutes after the call came in, and the fire had started in the garage and was venting out the roof. And they were able to put themselves between the fire and the rest of the house, and then they finished venting the roof, which made like a blowtorch up there, and protected the rest of the house. So it went very textbook. And so in the end, they pulled out a cat and a snake, and so those were the rescues. The garbage truck was going by and noticed the fire and got the 5 occupants out, including a disabled person. So everything went well for that, and other than the tragedy during the season, family being displaced. But, so I just wanted to take a minute as we go into the holiday season to say thank you, all of you. It's a pleasure to serve alongside of you, a group that cares so deeply about the community that I serve as well, we serve as well. As our department wishes you well during the holiday season, and know that we've got your back. We're here 24/7 during the holiday season, and we'll watch out after the community.
Thank you. Council, any questions or comments for Chief Grimes? No? All right. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
All right. Next, Mr. Trask.
Thank you, Mayor. As for the city attorney's report tonight, everything that I wanted to address is on the agenda, so I'll just address those individual items as they come up. So, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
All right, Council, any questions or comments for the city attorney? No. All right. Next up, city manager report.
Thank you, Mayor. So I also have some items from my report that will be on the agenda, including the 9th Street pump station, the 22nd Street bridge repair project, and some new valve installs. But I will go over the A Street repairs that we need to put the lining for the pipes that are where the water is infiltrating. We did some pricing by contacting multiple CIPP lining companies, and we discovered that a lot of these prices have gone up a lot, and all of the estimates we received back from, I think we had 4 companies total, were above our threshold of $25,000, which requires us to have a sealed bid. So we did discover that Renting Shores has a contract with a company that we could piggyback, but when we ran the numbers, the repairs would still come back at about $50,000, and we did get an estimate from Shenandoah General Construction that would do a liner for about $35,000. So what we want to do is release a bid for a short period of time to try and get a better price using our purchasing procedures. So trying to get that returned by about mid-January so that we can move forward with a repair there. For the proposed temporary fire station, we continue to, we sent out a second email blast. We've gotten a lot of feedback via email, and City Clerk Thornsberry is pricing out with Sir Speedy some prepaid mailing options, so we can do some door-to-door to get a maximum response. And then the plan will be to kind of compile all those results and let you know kind of how many we're for and how many we're against, and go from there. So I would expect that we would get these prepaid mailings delivered in either late December or early January to get the results back in January. The code review, we have another planning and zoning meeting scheduled till next week on Tuesday at 10 a.m., December 9th. And I'm hoping that this will wrap up the complete code review. And I do have some ordinance chapters that are ready to come back to a work session with the city council. And I would like to start including that in January work session. Mayor and I have a meeting tomorrow with the new Duke Energy government liaison. Her name is Teresa Crane. Apparently she worked at Duke previously and she's come back. And we're hoping to have a meeting to understand where we're at. It's not tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Wednesday. So yeah, after Big C. So we're going to try to find out what needs to be finished up so that phase 1 can start. Get some dates of hopefully that they can commit to getting phase 1 started and starting the conduit on phase 2. It's been stuck kind of at a sticking point now for over a year. We're trying to move that forward. So hopefully on Wednesday we'll be able to get some dates from Duke. We're still working through the substantial damage properties. I got about 9. I actually did get one reevaluation submitted today. I'm following up on, so that we'll loan me another one. I feel that after the new year, these remaining, I've sent sort of informational notices to these properties. I haven't got much response. I do get a response when I do go to a code violation, so I think coming January, we're going to have to do code violations on the remainder. And then we'll also be doing a wave of emails for properties that we suspect needed to get repairs that did not pull a permit. That is part of the kind of follow-up process that FEMA expects us to do. So we'll be sending out probably about I'd say around 60 to 70 letters to properties that we haven't seen a permit pulled for. And then we'll see what the response is for that. And then lastly, for the stormwater improvement project, we did get that final valve that needs to go in at the swale to protect the residents on Cedar and Spruce. I gave them a deadline of this week to get it in, or else we'll just put it in. And it looks like this Wednesday at 7 a.m. they're going to be here to get that last valve installed. And then I have some follow-up items that we have to hash out. There's remaining on the original scope of the project, and I'd like to do that after we get this valve installed. And then I'd just like to mention, I put some vacation leave, a notification I'll be out of the country from December 11th to December 23rd.
Council, any comments or questions for the city manager?
One question, please. Regarding the FEMA program, is there any status on the opportunity to get some assistance of the type that went directly to community to be able to be sent down to citizens?
The money that was received from the state to the county?
Yeah.
The county has advertised all the opportunity, like the programs that they're offering for that money. I did see some that could apply to Bel Air Beach. I don't know the exact ranking of how they're prioritizing those, but I would encourage that our residents to apply because they have these programs to get through the initial money, but I know that there's a lot of funds, and if those funds aren't used, they'll be available in some other forms.
But there was another program, as I recall, that didn't give funds directly to citizens. It was one in which the community got the funds and then chose how that was going to be distributed.
I believe that they did survey us in the LMS group where each city said, either if they preferred that the money went to the homeowners versus an infrastructure project. And the Bel Air Beach was responsible if we wanted to go to residents first. I'm not exactly sure which funding you're talking about.
I'll have to look again. It's just something that I recall when we were talking, but I know there was a program like that where it was not directly to individuals. It went directly to the community instead.
Okay. Yeah, usually the hazard mitigation money through the LMS program is given out for projects for the city as well. And then previously, before they started the Elevate Florida program, when they did do residential projects under the HMS mitigation, the city did have to handle those applications. So maybe that.
And I'll look.
Is that what you're talking about, the old system before Elevate Florida? That the city, you would apply through the city for funding that?
I believe it was an alternative one, but it just came to mind when he was talking, so I can look for more specifics.
Can I ask the council to pull your microphones closer and speak directly into it so it's recorded and I can hear you? All right. Any other, yes, Councilmember Wellington.
On the 101 Cedar Drive, the fire station, how many responses have we got, do you think now? Maybe what rough percentage of the residents?
I can just look at my email quick. Give or take maybe 30 or 40 responses.
Okay.
about 20 on the first batch and another 20, I'd say, so far.
Okay.
I would expect with the mailings that we could get closer, definitely over 100,
Okay.
close to 150.
Okay. We don't have a target that we say, this is when we're ready to actually vote on the topic.
No, my next date would just be to collect all responses and to get results on
Okay. All right.
I do think it was a perfect situation tonight, the tree lighting, and Suncoast came over the bridge, lights blaring, or sirens blaring, lights on, and that will happen regardless. And Chief Grimes did give us his word, and I believe him, that there wouldn't be any lights or sirens on until that thing had got lowered, unless during the day they couldn't get out.
All right. Any other questions or comments for the city manager? No. All right. Thank you, Kyle. All right. Up next, Mr. Thornsberry. You have a city clerk report for us?
I do. It's included in the packet, and I have nothing more. Unless you have
Nothing more.
questions.
All right. Well, do we have any questions or comments for the city clerk? No. All right. And we are on to citizen comments. If any citizen would like to address the council about a topic not already on the agenda, please raise your hand and wait to be called on. We ask that you limit your time to no more than 3 minutes, and remember to direct all questions and comments to the council. If any council member would like to respond to citizen comments, please hold your responses until we reach council comments at the end of the meeting. Would any citizen like to address the council about a topic that is not already on the agenda? Yes, ma'am. Please come right up. Please give us your name and address, and then we'll hear your comment.
Hello, my name is Eileen Woodside. My address is 501 Causeway Boulevard, directly across the street from this building. I'd like to comment about the property 1001 Cedar owned by this city. Bel Air Beach has owned the property since 2006. It was purchased as a temporary place to house the city hall during the demolishment and building of a new city hall. The house was purchased for $130,000. The just value was $177,000 at the time. During 2009-2010, the real estate market was depressed, and it was decided to wait until it rebounded. Notice the market did rebound years ago. The new city hall was completed in 2009. Currently, the property is used to store equipment. This appears to be an excessively expensive storage method, considering the value of the property in Bel Air Beach. There is concern regarding the fiscal management of this property that is to be used for the proposed use of the fire department. Some of the concerns are, number one, possible tax revenue was lost due to being removed from the taxable property for the past 19 years. Possible tax revenue was lost due to the payment of utilities for the past 19 years. Possible tax revenue was lost due to maintenance costs. Between 2008 and 2017, the city made over $100,000 in improvements on this property. What were the expenses from 2018 to now? Number four, possible tax revenue was lost due to insurance costs for the past 19 years. Number 5, possible tax revenue is lost due to not renting the property for the past 19 years. Number 6, possible tax revenue will be spent for the cost of remodeling for the fire department, which will result in significantly reducing the value of this property. Plus, the possibility of getting the best price when selling, unless the tax revenue will be spent to remodel from a fire department to a facility, fire department facility to a home. Questions? More questions. Will the general public have the opportunity to bid on this property? Will bids be open through
Excuse me,
a public
Eileen.
meeting?
Excuse me, can you wrap this up?
Yes, I only
You're
have-
almost 4 minutes.
I only have 3 more sentences. What procedures will be followed for purchasing this property on the open market? What real estate firm will be used? What is the assessed value of this property? Is it to be advertised on the open market? Will bids be received? Was a real estate firm involved? Will the funds be allocated for the reserve account? Thank you for your attention to these matters.
Thank you. All right. Who else would like to speak? Yes, please come up.
I'm Roger Mall, I live at 513 right here across the street, and I called in reference to looking at something we hadn't really discussed about the fire department in a meeting a week or so ago. But I'm actually incredibly worried about the people in the north section of the town. Like if I lived where you do, Dave, it would concern me because it is a viable argument that it's too slow to get there for emergency responses, and so we need to do something to address that. I think the absolute worst thing we could do is put in a fire engine and have that massive vehicle. You've all been in the traffic of this town when it's backed up and it goes car to car to car and nobody can even turn up the streets, it's so crowded. And so a smaller vehicle like an emergency response vehicle would be the way to go, and you would have 2 people that are trained paramedics instead of 1 trained paramedic and 3 other fire people. I think is the model that the fire chief gave us on what it would take to man the specific fire truck. Plus, fire trucks are $500,000, and it's way more cost effective to have the ambulance service. But then, if you're on one of those fingers up in the north part of the county, a small vehicle like that with emergency techs, that looks like a viable idea, but where would it be housed? It's not going to do any good to have it here. We already get quick response from Largo, which I'm sure the fire chief doesn't like because it's not under his auspices. But the south gets taken care of pretty well by Indian Rocks, but the north is a real risk. And so I think if we look at how to improve that situation, then we would be greatly enhanced. Plus, we also, if it was at the marina, and we just had a little truck there for whatever the team was, we could also consider even having an emergency response boat, because there's a great deal of property, if it's crowded, that they could get to very easily by going around and servicing right off of the dock of the boat if it's very crowded. I don't know the feasibility of that, I'm just throwing out ideas, but it looks like if we go smaller instead of bigger, it would be way more cost effective and probably save way many more lives. Thanks, appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Mall. Other citizen comments? Yes, sir, please come right on up.
Yes, good evening. My name is Peter Mahalik. I live at 205 Harrison Avenue. I want to address something that was brought up at the last council meeting. It was on the agenda, and that's about the possibility of declaring bamboo an invasive species, as it has been in many, many states and municipalities throughout the country. We don't have that in Bel Air Beach, as I understand it, and I'd like to know what has been done, what's been discussed, and where we are with that.
Anything else, sir?
No, that's it.
All right, thank you very much. And just so you know, if the city manager has any response to any of your comments, he comes back after citizen comments just for that purpose. Okay. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Please come right over.
Hi, my name is Pam Garcia, 2238 Denali Drive. I just want to say that I'm very excited about the possibility of having a fire station close by. I live on Donato, as you just heard, and I think that the value of our homes would go up. I don't know by exactly how much if we had higher response time. And that's something that I was excited about, being that the value of our homes have gone down recently with the hurricanes. Also, too, I'm pretty sure that our home insurance will probably go down having a fire station close by. So I'm definitely in favor of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. Any other? Yes.
Tony Gatliff, 2228 Another Drive. I read through the chief's proposal. It's excellent. I was here for the informal meeting last month and a half ago. And I think the residents' main concerns were all addressed by that. We live in that northern part of the city where I believe the bulk of our residents live in that northern part of the city. My concern is in the event of a critical health emergency, heart attack or stroke, if you don't have somebody right there that knows what they're doing, your chances of survival go down dramatically with every minute that passes. We've seen a fire truck parked where they proposed to put it before. You hardly see it. I mean, it's a fire truck. Reading through his proposal, I saw where they are going to pay for the modification so they can use it. I guess the city, we still have to repair it from the flood. Is that correct, Bob?
Yes.
But as far as it getting prepared for them, for the firefighters, firefighter paramedics who live there, that's on their dime. At least that was my understanding. But we are 100% in favor of it, and that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Galiff.
Thank you.
Other comments? Yes.
Cheryl Bray, and I'm on 9th Street, and I just want to, from the southern side of the city, I do support the fire station being temporarily housed there in the community, and primarily for the life-saving issues. The second thing I want to comment on today is I know that I think it's number 14, you're going to vote.
I'm sorry, if it's about an agenda item, you'll have to comment during that item.
Thank you, Dick.
Thank you. Yes. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Marlena Granger. I live at 920 Cedar Drive. I would like to know what the long-term plan is for the property on Cedar Drive that's owned by the city. It was purchased for temporary use by the city for the personnel who were while this building was being constructed. It would seem to me that it would make sense to turn the property back into a residential property, sell it, and use the money for drainage for the city, which we desperately need. Nobody seems to respond when I ask what the long-term proposal is for this house.
I'm sorry, we don't respond during citizen comments to keep things moving.
This is from a letter that I sent out.
I'm going to have to ask you to stand down.
I'm perfectly happy to.
Thank you. Any other citizen comments? All right, citizen comments are now closed. City Manager Riefler, if if you have any response to any of the discussion that just occurred.
Just a question on the bamboo. We had the planning and zoning meeting on November 4th. So at that meeting, the planning and zoning board made a recommendation to take it to council to prohibit the planting of bamboo throughout the city. So where that stands is when I talked about the January work session, that needs to come before council in the form of an ordinance to consider, outlawing bamboo. So it was recommended by the planning and zoning board, which is part of the process, but where it stands now is the council would need to approve.
Council, do you have any questions or comments about the city manager's last comment? No? Okay, I have a question for you based upon the citizen comments. Tom or Kyle or both of you, is it even possible to sell property, or does it have to go for a referendum to the entire city to eliminate property?
If I recall the code correctly, I believe it needs to be voted on by citizens.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to confirm that it wasn't just a simple, let's put it up for sale. All right. Anything else? Okay. All right. Thank you so much. All right. Now we are on to the consent agenda, items 9 through 11. This is for approval of the November 3rd, 2025 City Council meeting minutes, the November 10th, 2025 City Council special meeting minutes, and the November 17th, 2025 City Council work session minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Who was that?
Jody.
Okay. Motion is made by Councilmember Shirley. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Make it easy.
Making it easy on me. All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the consent agenda passes. All right, now we are on to the regular agenda. This is item number 12, consideration of resolution 2025-11. Tom, would you please read the resolution and give us a brief explanation as to why we need this?
Mayor, Commissioner, council members, this is resolution 2025-11, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Bel Air Beach, Florida, opting out of providing the 80 to 120% AMI missing middle property tax exemption to developments that would otherwise qualify pursuant to House Bill 7073 and providing for an effective date hereof. Background on the resolution is that when the Live Local Act was created, it provided for new affordable housing property tax exemption. We call it the missing middle property tax exemption or multifamily middle market exemption. That act provided two different tiers of exemptions for developments that have at least 71 or more affordable units in them that earn up to 120% of the area median income, which is the AMI. Those units within an eligible development that serve households between the 80 to 120% AMI can receive a 75% tax exemption, and units that serve households below 80% AMI could receive a 100% tax exemption. In the 2024 legislative session tax passage package, the newly granted ordinance provided that taxing authorities have the ability to opt out of this tax exemption for developments within their jurisdiction. The City of Bel Air Beach meets all of the requirements necessary to opt out of the exemption, and I have prepared this resolution to allow you to opt out of the exemption, which would mean that you would retain all tax dollars for uses other than affordable housing, if in fact a development ever came forward that could provide a development of at least 71 units. There's a lot of cities that have opted out. The unfortunate thing is that this resolution has to be adopted before January the 1st, and it would have to become effective January 1st, and it will be effective only for 1 year. This is the second year that this has been done in other cities. This is the first year that it's being done for the City of Bel Air Beach. It's my recommendation that you approve this resolution to save those tax dollars instead of allowing them to be used for the affordable housing developments which in my estimation would never happen in your city anyhow, because you don't have enough land to even provide for one of these types of developments.
All right, thank you, Tom. Before we go to the council, would any citizen like to comment on this resolution? All right, seeing as we have none, council, I'm going to need a motion to approve resolution 2025-11.
Motion.
Motion is made by Frank Banker. Do I have a second?
Second.
That was Kim. Seconded by Elliot. Mr. Banker, you have the floor.
I think the resolution speaks for itself, but as the attorney says, we don't have the land probably to accommodate it right now, but with all the homes being torn down or whatever, we couldn't get that land. So I think we should address this year and next.
I would agree with you. Do we have other comments? No. In fact, with the way preemption works and as much as they're gunning for us, I would say we get ahead of this every year until they change something. And we just take advantage of this, even though it's not really applicable to us. This is just another safeguard for our city.
We put this like on the agenda for October next year to make sure we don't forget this. Is there a way?
I have it calendared every year, so that's what I will come back to. Yes.
All right. This is a resolution. Do we have any other comments? No? All right. Kathy, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Bankert?
Yes.
Councilmember Elliott?
Yes.
Councilmember Shirley?
Aye.
Councilmember Wellings?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Roberts?
Aye.
Mayor Gaddis?
Aye. So resolution 2025-11 passes unanimously. All right, we are on to item number 13. Consideration of ordinance 2025-04. This is the second reading. Tom, you are up.
Mayor, council members, this is ordinance 2025-04, an ordinance of the city of Bel Air Beach, Florida, amending subparagraph B of section 94-135 uses of Division 1 generally of Article 4 districts of Chapter 94 zoning of the Land Development Code of the City of Bel Air Beach Code of Ordinances by deleting the reference to maximum floor area ratio FAR in the provisions relating to uses in residential low RL District 2, providing for codification, severability, and for an effective date. That was the second final reading of ordinance 2025-04 by title only.
All right, thank you, Tom. Let's go to the citizens. Would anyone like to comment on this ordinance? All right, no takers. We're back to the council. Council, I'm going to need a motion to approve ordinance 2025-04.
So moved.
Is that Kim? Okay. Motion is made by Elliot. Need a second?
Second.
I'll give that one to Wellings. Kim, you have the floor.
This is the second reading of this ordinance. I previously moved that we adopted in the fact that with the combination of the setbacks that we have in place along with the height limitations, that this is redundant and not necessary.
Thank you, Councilmember Elliott. Would any other council member like to speak on this? No? All right. Kathy, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Bankert?
Yes.
Councilmember Elliott?
Yes.
Councilmember Shirley?
Aye.
Councilmember Wellings?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Roberts?
Aye.
Mayor Gaddis?
Aye. So ordinance 2025-04 passes unanimously. All right, now we are on to item number 14. This is consideration of awarding project bid B25-02 for the 9th Street Pump Station to Kaminga and Rude-Buitz Incorporated in the amount of $439,920.80. City Manager Reefler, you are up.
Thank you, Mayor. So, in my memorandum, I just rehashed where we started on this project back in February 2024. February 6th, we actually did the purchase order for the design and evaluation for a pump station on 9th Street. And at the last work session we had on the 17th of November, we kind of went around when we were looking at some other ideas, proposing a pump from Gator Pumps to see if there was a simpler way to put this project together to accomplish the same results. And when Gemini Engineering had reviewed the project, they felt that the cost savings from our meetings with Gator Pumps and the difference in design to try to do the undergrounding and directional boring, that they didn't see that the savings would be worthwhile in their opinion to sacrifice the design and the pump and engineering that already had gone into the project. And then from there, if you remember, we just went around and kind of stated the opinion of where everyone was at with the pump station. The reason I'm putting this on the agenda is we did bid it out and have received responsible bids. We have a low bidder from Kaminga and Woodwoods Incorporated. They're pretty good. They're a company that's done work for us in the past at the 12th and 13th Stormwater Project. So they're a very capable company, and they've also included a letter of interest and commitment that they included in this item so that the city knows that they're committed to doing this project and are fully confident in completing the job as designed. And so I just want to make sure that we know that we have until this is pretty much our last meeting where we need to make a decision on this bid. And we did get a very good price, if you remember. The estimated price was $660,000, and this came in with the contingency at $439,000, but without contingency, right around $400,000. So at about 2/3 the price. I don't think we're going to see a price like this for this type of job again, and just leave it as good pricing. So I thought it was important that we fully consider this project.
All right, thank you very much. Before we go to council comments, would any citizen like to speak on this agenda item? Sir, go right ahead. You're already up.
All right. James Casper, I'm on 105 Main Street. We've been there since 2009. Definitely seen on some of those big king tides where the water cannot get out of our street, which then prevents access to the park for sandbags. As people drive up and down the street, it pushes that water into people's yards. So I'm speaking in favor with the, not being a hydrologist, but being in construction industry, understanding that it would be good to get that water out of the street and into an infinite basin, which I understand that the way the pump, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the way the pump works is that it'll be emptying into existing stormwater basins, which then empty into the bay, being the stormwater basin that's just behind us. So I am in favor of it. I think it's one of those things that this is one of the rare streets that actually has access to stormwater without having to go through the seawalls and through stormwater piping. So if I'm not understanding that correctly, anything that anybody can explain to me would be helpful, but I am in favor of it to keep access into the park during those events and to get the water off the street and damaging the asphalt that we just had done and having a safe environment. So.
Thank you, Mr. Casper. Other citizen comments? Yes, please come up.
Just to reiterate what I've said many times, and that is I am in favor of the pump, and number one, to make this street more passable during any storms, and number two, just to protect, I just put landscaping sod down for I don't know how many times because of the stormwater that keeps coming up into my property. And that's totally selfish, but it's not something that we can change if we don't put those pumps in.
Thank you. For the record, can we have your name and address one more time?
Cheryl Gray, 118 9th Street.
Thank you, Ms. Gray. Eileen, please come. I'm sorry you keep getting passed by.
You mentioned there was a bid of $400,000. I'd like to know, why aren't the bids open at a public meeting? When are the bids open? And isn't the public attending? For transparency, my experience has been in the past at board meetings, that's when bids are open, and that way there isn't any question of changing the bids or anything else.
Thank you very much. Other citizen comments? All right, citizen comments are now closed. Council, I'm going to need a motion to award this project bid to, we're going to call them K&R. Would anyone like to make a motion?
Before we proceed, I'd like to make a comment, if I may, and that is, as a resident of 9th Street, I wish to avoid any conflict of interest or any appearance of impropriety, and I will abstain from the vote this evening.
Since you're addressing the council, you are entitled to express your opinion on the upcoming, even though you haven't, no one's made a motion at this point. So if we actually get a motion going, you are entitled to speak. You just,
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Would anyone like to make a motion to move forward with this project?
I guess I'll make a motion for it.
All right, the motion is made by Councilmember Wellings. Would anyone like to second this? All right, the motion dies, and I am not allowed to participate in the motion, so that's it. All right, now we are on to item number 15, which is to execute a purchase order to Gemini Engineering and Sciences for the scour assessment and structural evaluation of the 22nd Street Bridge in the amount of $62,945. Mr. Reefer, you are up.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay. Okay, so got pretty technical with this memo to explain what Gemini presented to us at the work session. So this is laying out the next steps, which they felt was after talking to FDOT, talking to bridge design companies that are approved by FDOT, and getting the answers we need as far as how bad the scouring is and if the bridge is compromised. They're recommending we move forward doing, let's see, we're first going to go on the phase 3, but they did not feel that the non-destructive evaluation, pile integrity testing, and ultrasonic was going to produce enough information to make it worthwhile. So they thought it would most likely be inconclusive anyways. So the recommended procedures is to move forward with their proposal, which is to establish, they're going to hire a subcontractor, which they provided the information on. So DRMP is the company they have selected, and again, they are a pre-qualified DOT-approved company. They'll be working as a subcontractor as part of this proposal. So Gemini will remain our principal engineer, and that is who we have our continuing professional services contract with. So this is the proposal that they said they would deliver to us at this meeting to move forward evaluating the structural integrity of the bridge to further plan countermeasures and or weigh out replacement, complete replacement.
All right. Would any citizen like to speak on this particular agenda item? All right. Citizen comments are now closed. Council, I'm going to need a motion to approve a purchase order to Gemini for evaluation of the 22nd Street Bridge.
So moved.
Motion is made by Councilmember Shirley. Do I have a second?
Second.
I believe that was Councilmember Wellings. Yep. All right. Councilmember Shirley, you have the floor.
Well, we went over this in the work session. I mean, it's pretty clear this is general maintenance required by the FDOT that we have to maintain our bridges, and this is part of that process of trying to determine what the next step is.
Thank you very much. Other comments? Councilman? No? All right. This is another large ticket item. Kathy, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Bankert?
Yes.
Councilmember Elliott?
Yes.
Councilmember Shirley?
Aye.
Councilmember Wellings?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Roberts?
Aye.
Mayor Gaddis?
Aye. The purchase order is approved. Mr. Reefer, you are free to proceed.
Thank you.
All right. Now we are on to item 16. This is to approve the city manager to execute a purchase order for the installation of 2 new backflow preventers to Ramble Engineering and Construction in the amount of $5,610. Mr. Reefer, you are up.
Thank you. So there's 2 proposals included, and during the last go around when we were trying to figure out reinstalling these check valves after the stormwater project, I started contacting our sales representative at Wapro to see if he was aware of anybody, local contractors, somewhere in the area that could install these, had a lot of experience and know-how when doing these, because city staff has done these a lot, so we tend to know a lot about the valves, but we don't always have the means to be able to get out there and install every one of these. So I felt it was important that we find a contractor that is capable, and I did find Ramble Engineering and Construction, and he's installed over 100 of these valves, all different sizes, as large as 48 inches, which is a lot larger than we need to install. Our largest stormwater pipe is 24 inches. And he's provided 2 proposals. One is the install, it's between 2205 22nd Street and 2205 Bayshore Drive, which is one of the 12-inch outfalls off of Bayshore that when we were discussing the stormwater project on 23rd Street, I was asked if they could have protection of a check valve in that location. We said that we could do that. So that I have that valve in possession, so this would be to install at that location. And then the additional location is at the outfall that is responsible for Morgan Drive and the intersection of Morgan Drive and Hibiscus Drive West. And this is an area that is not as bad as some of the obviously lower south portion streets. And I would say more comparable to 16th, 17th Street, which takes a very high tide to really see the water come out onto the street. But I have parts from the work we've done at the 7th Street, because they let us keep the defective valve body, and I have a membrane for that body. So I can recycle these parts that they let us keep to have another valve, and I'd like to install that at this location that is for Morgan Park, because that will, at times, have water come out into the street, and I think it's worthwhile. It's a good location, and it's the only remaining 24-inch pipe that we could put this valve. So that's the reason I included it. And as you can see, to do the second valve, we're getting a very good price. It's a larger valve. And with this, Albert is his name, Albert Rambo. With the way he works, if he can get eyes on the next location or to assess where we're thinking about putting a valve, it saves him a trip because he's coming from like 2 hours away. But if we can do this where he knows kind of the next one we're planning, he can give us prices that are very reasonable. And he has a lot of experience. So it'll be fine.
All right, thank you, Mr. Riefler. Let's go to the citizens. Would anyone like to speak on this topic? All right, citizen comments are now closed. Council, I'm going to need a motion to approve a purchase order to Ramble Engineering for backflow preventer installation.
So moved.
I'm gonna give that one to Frank, and I'll give Vice Mayor the second. Mr. Baker, you have the floor.
Let's keep the water out, all I can say.
All right, other comments? No? All right, this is a smaller amount, so I'm just going to do an all in favor. Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Mr. Riefler, you are authorized to proceed. All right, we're back to unfinished business. We had one item, and that was a consideration of ordinance 2025-03. It was tabled at the last meeting where this was presented because it was new and we didn't have time to really discuss it. So I'm hoping everyone has had time to review this, and I will say that, well, Tom, you go ahead and read the ordinance and give us the spiel again, and then we'll take it from there.
Thank you, Mayor. This is ordinance 2025-03, an ordinance of the City of Bel Air Beach, Florida, amending Article 5, supplemental district regulations of the Land Development Code of the City of Bel Air Beach, Code of Ordinances by creating Division 3, certified recovery residences, providing for definitions, providing for procedures for the review and approval of certified recovery residences, providing for requests for reasonable accommodations, providing for revocation of reasonable accommodations, providing for codification, severability, and for an effective date. And that again is the first reading of ordinance 2025-03 by title only. This ordinance is being brought to you because of the fact that the Florida legislature in the last session adopted and signed by the governor, where it adopted a Florida statute which provides the following. By January 1st, 2026, the governing body of each county or municipality shall adopt an ordinance establishing procedures for the review and approval of certified recovery residences within its jurisdictions. The ordinance must include a process for requesting reasonable accommodations from any local land use regulation that serves to prohibit the establishment of a certified recovery residence. As a direct result of that mandate by the state, we did create this ordinance providing for the process that is required under the statute, and we also provided for a couple of technical requirements that was added as well relating to the application process. So I'm here to answer any questions if you have any, but this is not something that is brought to you willy-nilly. It is a requirement based upon the law that was adopted at the last legislative session and signed by the governor.
All right, thank you, Tom. Let's go to the citizens for comments. Would anyone like to speak on this one? All right, citizen comments are now closed. Council, I'm going to need a motion to approve ordinance 2025-03. This is the first reading. Just so you know, if it passes, we will need, correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, we will need to adopt this before January the 1st, so it will require a special meeting sometime in December to wrap this up.
That's correct.
All right, so do I have a motion?
So moved.
Was that, okay, I'm sorry. Councilmember Elliott, do I have a second?
Okay.
And that was Councilmember Wellington?
Yes.
Okay. Councilmember Elliott, you have the floor.
This ordinance is mandated by state law. We have an obligation to adopt it to provide for those that may be suffering from the condition.
All right, thank you very much. Before I go to any other council comments, I realize that there may be a reason that we would not want to approve this. However, I feel that this is one of the situations where the state has our backs against the wall. There are possible implications that we could be named in a lawsuit. Our city could by not passing this, and there's a whole list of reasons. If you give me just a couple of minutes, I'll run through them. Just my interpretation. We have to do this because it complies with new state law that requires a clear process for certified recovery residences, which I believe Tom already covered. Reduces the risk of fair housing in ADA lawsuits against the city. Gives the city a predictable procedure instead of case-by-case fights. So we would actually have clear direction on what to do should this come up. Allows the city to set reasonable conditions and a revocation process within legal limits. So if they're not doing it right, then we actually would have something on the books that says you're not doing it right and you can't do it anymore. And finally, protects neighborhoods while still treating people in recovery fairly and lawfully. So that's kind of my interpretation. Tom, would you like to add anything to that?
No, I think that's absolutely correct.
Okay, all right. Now I'll take council comments. Anyone? All right. In that case, Kathy, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Bankard?
Yes.
Councilmember Elliott?
Yes.
Councilmember Shirley?
Nay.
Councilmember Willens?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Roberts?
Aye.
Mayor Gaddis?
Aye. So the ordinance passes, looks like 5-1. Now we are on to council comments, which, by the way, look, at the end of the meeting, we will determine when the special meeting will be. All right. Let's move on. Well, I'll tell you what, let's do that now before we move on to council comments. I believe the 15th I may not be available. Do we have another day?
If they get it advertised by Friday, to get it in the paper by the 10th, and then it needs to be in for 10 days.
For 10 days. So where does that put us?
Christmas. It takes us to at least the 22nd.
The 22nd. Okay, how does the 22nd work for everyone? This would be probably 10 to 15 minute meeting.
Yeah.
Everybody good?
I'm probably not good.
No? Okay. Well, we have a majority. We're missing Councilmember Harper, but we have to have a minimum of 4 votes for this to pass. Do we have that?
You can call me. I'll be on the phone.
You can vote over the phone. That's true. All right. So let's do that. Let's shoot for the 22nd. Remember, we must have a quorum that night, even if we're doing remote voting. All right. And that will be just for this little short meeting. Would you prefer a 5 or a 6, Council?
5.
5. Everybody good with 5? No.
Can we do 5:30?
Let's split the difference. 5:30, okay? All right, let's do that.
Just want to mention, we're going to be short on staff. Both Kathy and I will be out.
You'll both be out.
On the 22nd.
Are we able to have that, take that vote without the city manager being here?
Absolutely.
Okay.
By the way, I won't be around.
You won't be here either.
Are you sending us somebody? I'm going to send you somebody.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
All right.
Do it the week before, or no, is that not?
No, there's not enough time.
We could do it the week after.
The 29th.
I'll be here.
I won't be here, but I don't have to be. But I think a lot of people will be out that week. Thoughts?
Let's keep it at the 22nd.
Okay. Everybody go with that? 22nd? All right, let's do that.
What time was that on the 22nd?
5:30. All right, so now we've got that taken care of. We will move on to council comments, beginning with Councilmember Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On the pumps, first, on the pumps or flooding. I brought this issue to council back when I came on council and stressed this through my tenure since I've been on council. I just want to give you a brief history. The pump in the bid tonight before council was suggested by MWI Pumps in 2023 after many residents had flooding after Hurricane Idalia and the December storm of 2023. That flooded again some residents out of their homes from 1st to 8th Street. The pump was presented to council to be in a series of pumps to reduce or eliminate flooding in all prone areas in a tropical storm producing 6 to 12 inches of rain. This pump was not to be used for nuisance flooding. The pilot project that was in this bid was further to be entertained and pumps in place during the stormwater repair projects of 2024 on 9th Street, which did not happen. Members of council and myself met with the engineer earlier this summer about rain events and can continue to talk about the pump at 9th Street. I suggested we seek using a 6-inch pump. Let's attack a few streets, which would reduce nuisance flooding by way of trenching or directional boring an 8-inch flow pipe to a discharged city property area, or we should scrap this entire project and address the worst areas of flooding in the city. That suggestion did not go anywhere. After our engineer created a plan before council for discussion, I then addressed other pump manufacturers with our issue of flooding and gave them calculated situations for the past 10 years of flooding events. Simply doing a directional bore and placing a pump of 3 inches at a cost of $9,500 compared to a 6-inch pump at $140,000 would most probably provide the same results. True, a 3-inch pump would move 550 gallons a minute compared to 1,500, but our drain boxes hold 175 gallons, which are generally 2 per street. Although this is important to note, one drain pipe is typically tied to both. A 6-inch pump further needs about 5 inches of fall per 100 feet, with an 18-inch pipe supplying it. Looking over the plan, I do not find the slope addressed. If we do not have enough fall, the size of the pump we were looking to purchase would have run sequences and could have damaging effects in the long run if a pump does not run at least 5 minutes. At our work session, our engineers have noted my proposal or directional bore could cause issues of underground utilities, and that is why they suggested a cut and trench plan. This is malarkey. First, the entire Gulf Boulevard has been underground the length of our city for underground water. More importantly, call before you dig. 811 has been around since the 70s to locate such possible hazards and to provide a route to eliminate the hazard. The cost for this location service is nothing. It's paid by the utility companies. I further spoke to Gator Pump and an outside engineer, which our engineer and city manager involved in these discussions. This outside engineer primarily only deals with pumps in areas like our concerns for over 30 years and gave us 3 hours of his time for free on the idea of the MWI pump versus the 3-inch pump or a 6-inch pump, along with our engineer design. In his words, he noted, "We are willing to spend over $250,000 on a problem a farmer could fix for $25,000. He further expressed the pump we seek to buy is a great pump, but it is a pump that is required to run 8,000 hours a year when we need a pump that will run 400 hours a year. He simply said we are buying a Cadillac when we need a Ford. While in work sessions this past year and discussing this issue, our engineering and mishaps that we've seen from our engineers, the council member questioned me if I didn't have faith in our engineers. I simply said I did. For the record, Our engineer, before I went on council regarding the stormwater design for First Street North, including leaving 75-plus-year-old concrete pipes in place, if not broken. Concrete pipes that is reinforced have a life expectancy of 75 to 100 years. I am not sure if the pipes that were left in were reinforced when installed in the late 40s and 50s, but that life expectancy is for fresh water, not salt. Today, we are experiencing some of these pipes leaking, which will have to have a liner placed in them at the cost of the taxpayer. Some streets, when these stormwater pipes were installed, had the wrong elevation, simply too low, causing tidal water to come into the streets at tides as low as 2.6 feet. When the streets were dug up and new storm boxes were installed, this was not addressed by our engineer and simply left the same, causing the same situation after thousands were poured into the new stormwater project. Our engineer further provided an approved plan for check valves installation, which some have already failed and had to be redone, again at the taxpayer's expense. Construction management over other areas of the stormwater project of 2024, allowing the contractor to use a bubble level for curb drainage rather than a transit or curb GPS machine, causing the removal of newly installed curbs that would not drain, cost taxpayers again to redo this project. These are just a few points, along with the nonsense of cutting up a new street, providing a plan which is before us at $440,000 compared to what could possibly be done for well under $75,000, should be the reason why we should move into another either engineering firm or look into another situation to reduce nuisance flooding. To conclude, we will need to address this flooding issue. And just because of the grace of God, we were spared this year of a tropical storm. We do not have the resources to expend this type of money on one street. Other residents will or should be outraged if a plan is not put in front of council to address all nuisance flooding. Also in the bid, almost $50,000 is noted to move in equipment to do this job. That cost could cover almost a small pump on one street alone. I will close with a Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Next up is Councilmember Wellings.
Well, I think I'll just leave it as everyone have a very good holiday. Thank you very much.
All right. Next up, Councilmember Elliott.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to share just a few remarks regarding the pump evaluation. This is a project that went through 2.5 years of study, a lot of discussion, a lot of back and forth and debate, and we can all agree that we can disagree at times and that we might have different opinions about what is a proper solution about a problem that the city might be facing. We can all objectively at times feel that this is not an appropriate project. But what disappointed me in this process is that there felt to be an element of we versus they that entered into these discussions. And some of it felt that like people disfavored it if it was a project that wasn't in their neighborhood. And I like to look at this as a body. We're here to be part of this community, to do what's in the best interest of this community, and to vote both our conscience and our brains as far as what we think is the right solution for things. So as we move forward, I'd ask that as any public works project comes up, that we look at this collaboratively and cooperatively. We have some on the agenda right now that theoretically will benefit only certain neighborhoods. And because of that, I think we all need to evaluate our own conflicts, be prepared to deal with them as they may arise, and to work collaboratively as a body. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Shirley.
Well, we should have a tree lighting every meeting because it was a nice turnout tonight. Thank you all for attending. It was a great event. Thanks to the Parks Committee for putting on the event. You guys are doing a great job. And I hope everyone has a wonderful Christmas and time with your family.
right, thank you. All right, next up, Vice Mayor Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just under the title of transparency, I just want to take a couple of minutes to share with everyone why I did not move forward with a vote for the project for the pump system. And it has really nothing to do with who lives where, but in my opinion, it has everything to do with the cost. And as a council member, that's part of our job, to make sure that we spend the money that you guys and all of us are paying to our city properly. So when I evaluate this particular project, there's really, and you guys probably know this, some of you, or all of you, that there's really 4 different scenarios. We have a scenario where we have sunshine and no rain. Under that scenario, this pump project has no impact at all. We also have a scenario where we have big rains, but no high tide for the water to outfall into the bay. Again, the pump system has no impact on that scenario. We have another scenario, which I'll skip the third one. The fourth scenario is when we have, and I pray it never happens again, a situation where we have a storm surge that just floods our entire city. Pump system will not help that at all. I'm very confident that the check valves that the city has put in throughout the required areas is now doing a very effective job. I've spoken to our city manager, and again, I'm confident, and that's the assumption I'm making, that when the check valves are all installed where they are supposed to be, and we have a significant rain, there's different variables on that definition, and we have a high tide, then water will accumulate in the streets. The good news is that water now will be all fresh water, which, again, in my opinion, if we have a little bit of fresh water that comes up on the yards, and I've driven through after we've had those events, the grass is not dying because it's fresh water. So when I take a look at that, I have to ask myself, how often is this expense of $400,000 for a pump system is really going to kick in and provide help for our city? And in my opinion, it doesn't meet the barometer for that big of a cost. If we can find another solution that will cost significantly less money, like Councilmember Bankert was talking about, then that's something I would probably reevaluate and say, well, that's cost effective. I don't feel like we're going to have any more scenarios or problems where salt water is backflowing from the bay through the pipes onto our streets and therefore potentially on the yards, which is why I chose not to support this. Hope everybody has a wonderful holiday and Christmas season. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Vice Mayor Roberts. And my only comments on the pump are that I told everyone on this council that if I got 3 votes, that I would be the 4th, and I would push forward with this project. Obviously, it took a lot. We've gone back and forth with this project for, as Councilmember Elliott stated, about 2.5 years. And it's been not an easy conversation to have because it is expensive and it doesn't benefit everyone in the city. And there are so many reasons why not to do this project. But I did want to stand by my word that I wanted to help most of the streets on the south of Bel Air Beach. And apparently this just isn't the right solution. And I would like to applaud the council for at least going through this exercise. And hopefully we can come up with something that's more cost effective, that's a little easier to swallow, that benefits all of the streets in need. The original plan was to have one, just to see if it worked and to prove it out. And it looks like that's not happening at this time. However, if the council wants to move forward and continue discussing this topic, I'm always open to having that conversation. Other than that, I'd like to thank everyone who came out this evening, especially those of you that came out for the holiday celebration. I wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And we will have another meeting on the 22nd, and you are more than welcome to come and sit with us for about 15 minutes. All right, do I have a motion? Motion adjourned. Motion is made by Councilmember Baker. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Roberts. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, good night, everyone.